Hello everyone, we are from Group 3. We will talk about the 6th Prime Minister, Dato Sri Haji Muhammad Najib bin Tun Haji Abdul Razak. First of all, this is our teammates.
My name is Nur Shakila. I will begin with the introduction of Prime Minister. In Malaysia, Prime Minister is the head of government and the head of cabinet, which Yang di-Pertua Agong is the one who appoints him. The YDPA has complete discretion in appointing the Prime Minister, but he may only appoint a member of the Dewan Rakyat who, in his opinion, is likely to command the confidence of the majority of Dewan Rakyat members. Prime Minister plays an important role in ensuring the country functioning well. There are several roles given to Prime Minister, which is leading the army, nominate cabinet members, formulating the policy, and more. Dato Sri Haji Muhammad Najib was elected as the 6th Prime Minister in Malaysia. He is one of the great existing previous leaders that governs and managing the country in achieving Malaysia goals. Many contributions he made in the era of his reign that strengthened Malaysia's economy. I will proceed to the background of Dato Sri Haji Muhammad Najib. Dato Sri Haji Muhammad Najib bin Tun Haji Abdul Razak is well known as Dato Sri Najib, was the 6th Prime Minister of Malaysia when he held the position on 3rd April 2009. Dato Sri Najib was born in Kuala Lipis, settled in Pahang on 23 July 1953, and he also the firstborn son of Abdul Razak Hussein, which his father was one of the former Prime Minister in Malaysia. For his education, Dato Sri Najib attended the institution of St. John in Kuala Lumpur for his primary and secondary schooling before going on the Malvern Men's College in England. He also has a bachelor's degree in industrial economics with honors from the University of Nottingham in England, which he earned in 1974. In 1976, when Dato Sri Najib at the age 23, he was elected to the Parliament of Malaysia. Dato Sri Najib made history as he being elected as the youngest parliament member. In 1980 until 1981, Dato Sri Najib served in Deputy Minister of Education. In addition, he also a Minister of Culture, Youth and Sports and Minister of Defense back then. After Datuk Mokhtar Hashim vacated his position as UMNO Youth Vice Chief seat, Dato Sri Najib won that seat without contesting on 1982. In 2004, Dato Sri Najib became Malaysia Deputy Prime Minister, where mostly the parliament member giving trust on him to hold that position. And in 2008, when general election, or well known as PRU, was met, he got 36 and above votes from Pekan Parliament, which means he won on that
My name is Krisma Jolostek. I will present the challenges that Dato Sri Muhammad Najib Tun Razak faced when he was a Prime Minister. As such, there are a handful of people who have a negative view of the concept of One Malaysia, where they consider it is a propaganda from the government in effort to attract the influence of the people to get a positive result in the next election. This negative society is made up of those who are in opposition to the government, such as Anwar Ibrahim has invaded the Najib administration, One Malaysia program, calling it cosmetic and nothing more than a bald-faced political move to try win back support from non-Malay. Other opposition politicians such as Lim Kit Siang and Tunku Abdul Aziz and online news portals such as the Malaysian Insider has questioned the meaning and content of One Malaysia. But Anwar dismissed the whole concept, showing the Najib comment on unity and togetherness are for general use only. In the meantime, some Malaysians also do not pay attention to the launch and implementation of One Malaysia concept. They argue that this concept has no relevance of the life of society. Plus, with their busy lives, so pay less attention to the things that in their view are considered trivial. Challenges is in providing harmony and security for Malaysia. For example, the tragedy of twin airlines, namely the loss of MH370 in March and the crash of MH17 on July at the Ukraine, and the worst fall to hit the country in the decade, which left more than 200,000 people homeless, weakened the country's economic prospects. In addition, diplomatic relations with Thailand were efforts to build confidence in the South. These efforts aim to combat human trafficking, on land smuggling of drugs and weapons, marine security cooperation, and cyber security. Also on border management and connecting survey on the construction of wall along some part of the borderline shared by the Thai state. For example, the issue thrown up in terms of religion in Malaysia, like Malaysia bilateral relation with Thailand was strained for almost of Abdullah tenure under allegation that rebel groups has been training in neighboring Malaysia. The next is relation with Myanmar regarding the granting of asylum to member of the Rohingya Muslim minority group who fled Burma due to the human rights violation by the Burma junta. Many people think that he is acting in his own personal interest and not in the interest of the country, which is increasingly affecting the implementation of Malaysia foreign policy, which also poses a greater danger to the country. Next is the most critical challenge that the NAJIB administration has to face is the current global financial crisis. In the article for the Wall Street Journal, NAJIB himself stressed that foreign investment in Malaysia is expected to fall by 15%. The last challenge is suffering a backlash from citizens fed up with the blatant abuse of power. They are receiving response from the people who are fed up with the blatant abuse of power by the regime that has ruled Malaysia since independence. Next is the scandal that erupted during his tenure as defense minister with allegation of various shared defense agreement. The National Service Program that has resulted in the deaths of 17 young Malaysians participating in the program, and finally with allegation of involvement in murder. He faced 80% of the cabinet made up of ministers from the previous Badawi administration. It is unclear how his administration will proceed in tackling the problem.
During the Najib Razak become as Prime Minister, but there are also public issues that have been done and happened during his reign as Prime Minister regarding the issue of crime and the misappropriation of money belonging to a national investment body known as Scandal 1 Malaysia Development Berhad, which is 1MDB. What is 1MDB? 1MDB is a strategic economic development fund company wholly owned by the government of Malaysia through the Ministry of Finance of Malaysia. This company is aimed at the long-term development of the Malaysian economy with foreign direct investment, which is FDI. Economic development can be assisted and can be implemented with funds provided by this body to the country. But there has been an issue where the Prime Minister Najib Razak has been involved in the 1MDB scandal of embezzling a lot of money. When Najib Razak became Prime Minister, he also became the chairman of the 1MDB Sovereign Fund for the purpose of the national economy. But there have been many transactions going into his personal account instead of the company's official account. Based on this point, several negative projections has happened after it was discovered that the Malaysian National Fund body has a lot of debt problem and several people has been investigated, including Najib Razak. However, this issue has sparked a big controversy over his image after he responded to these corruption allegations and claimed that the billion of ringgit he received into his personal account were from political donations. That is the reason why Najib continues to be investigated. After several investigations into Najib Razak, he was finally charged in court and has several other charges. And now, he is still not in jail because he has taken this case to the Court of Appeal. This issue is still going on in court proceedings. The next issue is about the crude satire regarding toll-free at night, which will only be used by pairs like trucks and LGBT people. Basically, the implementation of tolls in our country as a cost to finance the construction and maintenance of routes from toll collection. It also brings real benefits as well as problems. Then, Najib Razak, who attended a conference in a village to give suggestions to facilitate people regarding tolls, said that among the suggestions is free tolls for the public at night. Najib had protested against the free toll at that time and made negative insinuations that made the public feel disturbed, saying that only truck will use the toll at that night. The people who listened was dissatisfied because it is not always the truck who go out at night. There are also people who work as truck driver, work shift and more. So that is among the public issues of Najib Razak.
Okay, the next is the challenges. First of all,
According to the slogan Rakyat Didahulukan Pencapaian Diutamakan by Dato Sri Najib, it can be seen that he is concerned toward the well-being of the country. The Government Transformation Program (GTP) was not as one of the contributions being made by the Prime Minister Dato Sri Najib, and also known as the Malaysian government effort to overcome 7 national key result areas (NKRA), which concerned toward the issues being faced by the citizen. First NKRA was to overcome the people's cost of living. This NKRA has succeeded benefit the lower income group through several initiatives such as continuing in providing financial assistance through 100 ringgit school ads or the One Malaysian People's Ads programs BRIM, and other initiatives that taken by the government must include the housing development programs in Malaysia, which is PRIMA. The second NKRA was to improving the student outcome by increasing the registrations of preschool, whereby the government wanted the Malaysian children started to receive educations in the early age. The third NKRA was to improve the rural development through the rural infrastructure programs, which includes new and upgraded road, access to the electricity, and also clean water. The fourth NKRA is by raising the living standard of low income through the programs called e-Kasih program, whereby this program consists of the information poverty started from the individual's profile, programs and assistance that received by the head of the household or the household members from ads of agency. Example of ads from the government was in terms of financials, the Bantuan Prihatin Rakyat (BPR) and the program Perumahan Rakyat Miskin (PPRT). The fifth NKRA was to improve the urban public transport by establish public transport such as KTM train service and rapid KL bus service for the Malaysian to be able to experience the most efficient form of public transport system. The sixth NKRA was to fight corruption through the establishment of the Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission, as corruption can destroy the country and weakens the integrities of the national institution. Last but not least, the seventh NKRA was to reduce crime in the country. This is because to ensure the well-being of the citizens, which bring peace and harmony in the country, in which the government will make sure the Royal Malaysian Police and the police force has a complete equipment and structure to combat.
It is clear that being a leader is not just about gaining profit and popularity, but it is also about facing the issue, challenges, and responsibility given.